Hello, Madridistas. Hello, Madrid. It's a couple of hours after the game, and decided to do this again. So my reaction to the game, right? I think the result is a fair result. Uh, and Was Bayern Munich in all metrics better than we were? Yes. But if you remember Real Madrid and if you know what Real Madrid is all about, it's all about the singular moments, like what we do in those singular moments. And what we are really well known for and what we are the most dangerous for, apart from transition attack, is being able to take our moment, like make something out of nothing, right? There was a quote by Thomas Tuchel, right, that he made before the game, where he said something about you don't see Real Madrid's goal coming. Like 20 seconds before, you don't see it. It just sort of happens, right? And I think that's what happens with it's more pronounced in the second goal by Vinicius than it is in the first, right? It's very pronounced in the first. Don't get me wrong, but it's more pronounced in the second because who knew that was going to happen? Like if you suspected that that was how our goal was going to come from, like I was even thinking we're going to score from maybe a cross and a north situation, or if Valverde pulls out one of his what's it called bullets on his right from his right leg. That was what I was expecting. I was not expecting Vinicius to force that mistake because in that if you look at that scenario once again, he was supposed to pass that ball like to his left. There was a Felan Mendy, and then there was someone else there that I don't necessarily remember at this moment. But he decided to force the ball and pass it through the middle. And in doing that, I don't know how he realized or if he even knew that Kim Min Jae was badly positioned. So the moment he gave the ball to Rodrigo had to do nothing except just let the ball run across him and then just turn, which meant that Kim Min Jae, the only way he could stop Rodrigo was to hack him down. Because if Rodrigo had completed that turn, it was just him and Noah, and we know what if Rodrigo is like in front of goal, that close to goal. So it was frustrating at times, right? Especially the first 20 minutes because we were finding it difficult to pass the ball out to get out of our own half. Bayern's press was really good, but they pressed in a way that they also won the first and second balls, the second balls especially, if we whenever we decide to not pass the ball from out the back and we just decide to play long balls and try to exploit the supposed spaces that would have been left behind between the defense and Bayern's midfield, but they cleared everything. And don't forget that the guys you have in front are not quite good aerially, where we don't have like a Uselu, and Bellingham was not at his best today. So it was quite frustrating the first 20 minutes. But then Real Madrid decided to do what Real Madrid does with a Toni Kroos or whether it's a Modric on the pitch. Like we slow the game down, like we do extra slow. And I forgot who made that statement a couple of years ago, a couple of seasons ago. Maybe it was David Alaba or something who says that Real Madrid plays how Toni Kroos wants us to play. If he decides that we are playing slow, we go slow. If he says we are going fast, we go fast. That's Tony Cruz for you. And you will notice that Thomas Tuchel decided to, because he knows how dangerous a Tony Cruz is and he knows he's our chief dictator and he dictates how we play. He wanted to man mark him at some point, right? But then which also leaves you, which is something that Tony Cruz can exploit. Tony Cruz is not a very stationary player. He knows how to move around, especially right in front of that back line, or even on the same line as the back line, even farther back than that, just so he can get those passes, those long balls, those vertical and diagonal balls across. So if you are man marking him, it means you are one player short, right? And if he moves around and the player moves around, whatever tactic, whatever positioning you have in place, like basically breaks down. So they were a bit successful with it, but after like the 15 to 20, after between the 15 and 20 minutes, and definitely after that, Real Madrid settled in. And this is the thing about Real Madrid that I've come to realize. Like there are moments where we suffer, regardless of the nature of the team, right? The moments where we suffer, I never thought that we were favorites to go through. And I see, so this is it. I see Bayern as a Barcelona, right? The same way I see Barcelona is the way I see our games against Bayern. And this is the reason why I'm saying this. When we are playing Barcelona, regardless of we're playing an El Clasico, regardless of the form of the team, it's anybody's game. Look at the last game last week or two. Yeah, yeah. Look at that game. On paper, we were better. They were having a shitty season, but we won with a one goal difference. Anybody was expecting that we'll just blast through them and all that. Yes, I get that the team was fatigued. They played under 20 minutes and all of that, but it's El Clasico. And the same for Bayern as well. Look at our stats 12 wins for us, 11 for them, 3 draws. Now it's 12 wins, still 12 wins for us, 11 wins for them, and now 4 draws, which means that it's still anybody's game at the Santiago Bernabeu next week. It still is, right? And the reason why I am saying this, the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of things has to change, right? Bayern could not sustain that press. We know that. The only team that does that very well, and after they finish pressing you, they now go gung ho. And I'm really scared of playing them, even though we've had the better of them over the past couple of seasons, is Liverpool, right? Bayern could not sustain that press and they allow us setting into the game and we're just passing the ball around. So it was time for them to chase. And it was in them chasing that the first goal, which is brilliant run from Vini, brilliant pass. And it has become a thing now when Toni Kroos does this to you or this to you. As a player, always look for the signs. Like, dude, I'm going to pass it inside of him or outside of him. Great run by Vini to drag out Kim In Jae. And then he leveraged his speed to be able to get to that. But I was surprised that Neuer did not come out because I was expecting, as soon as I saw that ball, I'm like, oh, Neuer, he will always be there for things like that. But it was so fast that I think it caught Neuer unawares and great execution by Vini, by the way. Very great execution. It was just so good. It was just so good. And Vini has become something else in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Highest goal contribution 31, I think. Yeah, over the past 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah, 2021, 2022. Behind him is Kylian Mbappe with 28. So it was greatly executed. And then for the rest of that first half, we were just slowly controlling the tempo of the game. I think about the 40th or 39th minute before the game ended, first half ended, Bayern started to come back into the game. So we had our moment of controlling the game, and we did not necessarily punish them as well, right? There was that chance that was saved by Neuer from that shot from that counter attack and that shot from Toni Kroos. Bayern had a lot of chances early on that they did not convert. One from there was the one from Sane, who I think was really brilliant today, especially in the second half when Thomas Tuchel made that tactical change and moved him to the right and then moved Musiala to the left. Musiala is very impressive, by the way. I need to say that that guy is something else, right? That guy is something else. And for those of you that are already writing off Jude, don't forget that this is a player that loves adversity. He loves being written off. Like he has that I'm a big dog mentality, and you're going to see that in the second leg, right? You're going to see that in the second leg. We're going to learn from our mistakes, and yeah, we're in for a really good game at the Santiago Bernabeu. And I also need to state that Leroy Sané's goal, Mendy is a lot at fault. Like a player that is strong on his left foot like that, you don't mark him to his right, you mark to his left, right? So that he cuts into his right and then tries to cut the ball out. It's always better that way. Okay, for players like that, let them play with their weaker foot. Always force them to play with their weaker foot, especially in a one-on-one situation. Always force them to play with their weaker foot because they always tend to want to adjust, especially in front of goal, so that to move the ball back to their dominant foot, so they can put a shot off. And I think it was not closed down fast enough. One from Mendy, second from our left centre back, which is Nacho. But it was a great goal. Like it was so fast, and I think that's the reason why he beat Lunin that easily in his near post. It was so fast. It was a very ferocious shot, and then a moment of madness from Lord Vasquez. Like I was not really expecting it, but anyway, he has been quite good of late. But he was cooked today, especially by Musiala. Like especially by Musiala, and then also the few times that David was able to get on the ball on that left side. It was really cooked by. I can't wait for Kamapahar to be back. I don't think it will be any better because they're still going to want to cook him. But I think one of the things that Carlo will do in the second leg is to ensure Valverde is covering that side a lot, right? Is providing support for him. And we're going to heavily rely on counter attack in the Bernabeu as well. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what Ancelotti is going to do. And props has to go to Ancelotti as well for having it takes cojones to remove your best player this season, Jude Bellingham. Apparently he has cramps. That's fine. But even before that, he was not really in the game, right? Compared to like a Musiala or even a Sane, right, or a Kane, he was not really in the game. And removing him and bringing in Brian Diaz, who was taking it to Bayern every time chance he gets, and we really needed that sort of energy on that side of the pitch because we're not getting it from Jude. We didn't get it from Jude at all today. We didn't get it from Jude at all today. And what else? What else do I want to talk about? What else do I want to talk about? It was good to have Modric in. Like there's this aura he brings once it's on the pitch. There's more. We have more control, and we're able to do more. I was surprised to see Kroos go off, but it looked like Kroos was getting a little bit agitated at some point, and he was already on a yellow card, right? He was already on a yellow card, which he got earlier for fouling Harry Kane. Harry Kane wasn't. I don't know. He didn't basically do much, but it's Harry Kane. Like you just need him to score. That's the point. Like you don't need him to do anything special. You don't need him to score, and then it came through. Like really good, really good. And I'm happy for him and for the work that he has, the impact he has had this season in Bayern. Right. Yeah. So let's talk about individual players. For me, Lunin did not necessarily have to do much in terms of save, apart from the two good saves he made, I think, in the first half. Uh, what else? In the second half, he was not necessarily threatened that much, which is funny because that was when we conceded those both goals. But apart from that, the game was a bit cagey. It was not as open as a lot of people would expect. There was no back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like at some point we sat deep, at some point they sat deep. So depending, it was a moment. It was a lot of moments game. Like it was a lot of moments game. But I think Bayern edged it a bit because they held on to the ball more. They looked a lot more dangerous than we were. We just knew how to take our chances. Like first shot on target was what we scored with, right? On the right hand side, like I said, Vasquez. A below par performance today, even going forward. He was not his clinical self. It was not his clinical self. The centre back pairing, Rudiger's always top notch. Nacho was a bit slow, and that tactical change of moving Tchouameni back to the right centre back and Rudiger on the left centre back to curtail the speed and the impact of Sane was quite brilliant. I liked that. Hopefully, we have Militao ready to play second leg, but I don't think so. I don't think so to start. So it's very likely the way we ended the game, apart from the changes he made, is how we're going to start. It's Rudiger Tchouameni, and then we have Camavinga in the game to effect the game from the very beginning. So that if we're going to be leading, we're going to have some very majestic lead, right? Uh, Mendy, not so much of a bad game, but just that one lapse in judgment that resulted in Bayern's first goal. From Leroy Sane in the middle, Toni Kroos, great game. He was my man of the match until Vini scored his second. I just knew that it would be taken away from him, but that was brilliant. That was a brilliant pass. Valverde was running as well, did not have much impact in like no nothing special, but his work rate is always there, and these things go unnoticed a lot, right? Jude, not really good game for him, a really good game for him. I also need to mention Trameni. Trameni did really well today. I really liked his game today. He's scanning. He's got like he was press resistant. We all know that on the ball, he's a better version of on the ball Casemiro, right? Just better at it. Like you can't successfully press him and win the ball. Right, he's quite good at it. And Vini was Vini, man of the match. Great game from him. Rodrigo as well tried to cause trouble on the left hand side, but immediately you can see the second goal, he was moved to the right hand side, which was a good change from. And then he had some really good sequence of dribbles that did not necessarily amount to anything, and then it got us to penalty. But I think that penalty was mostly Vini for even daring to do that, which is what I love about this team. Like take risk, like never play safe, and they did not lose their head when we went when Bayern went two up. Right, it was just that's fine. Like we concede goals, there's still time. We take our chances. And did we take our chances? We did. We did very very well. We did take our chance. And the game ended in a draw. The changes, Oselu did not necessarily do much. Brahim, like I said, tried to affect the game. Had some really good sequence of runs and a bit of dribble. And there was that same shot that he played into Vini, who was in an offside position. Well, it's Kamavinga. Yeah, it was good to have Kamavinga. Brought in a lot of energy in the middle of the park and was it allowed a Modric to move forward a bit and sort of press because I don't think that was a very cohesive one because we are terrible at it. Right? We don't have right. We don't know how to sit deep. We don't know how to be in a middle block. We don't know how to be in a lower block. It just we don't even know how to press. We just like vibes and inshallah. But I really love the fact that our individual quality always shines through. And I'm really looking forward to the game at the Santiago Bernabeu. Great game from Bayern. Great game from Bayern. Loads and loads of respect to the Bayern team, regardless of whatever terrible season that they're having. It's still Bayern. Like you don't win six Champions League and become a royal name in this championship if you know what it. There's that aura with this team as well. And I love how friendly the guys were during the game. Even after the game, you see Chamini crashing. Muller's post-game interview was quite fun to watch. Anyway, that's my reaction to the game. I will see you guys next weekend. Yeah, ahead of the game. I'm going to do a review of the game. Possibly we could be winning La Liga that game, like mathematically win La Liga in that game because Barcelona is going to play against Girona. But yeah, and then do a post. So I'll do a review after the Barcelona game just to know if we've actually won La Liga so that we can yeah just relax and play the game. I'm really looking forward to Jude being better in the second leg because he's a world class player. You can't take that away from him. One bad game, a series of bad games, does not take that away from him or the work that he has done this season. Please do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe. I look forward to your comments. Let me know what you think. Ala Madrid.